Okay, so now we have done a cube and a cylinder. Some shiny light on there. Let's fix that. Now we're going to do my favorite one, which is the sphere. The sphere is probably the most difficult one, and a lot of people ask me if the sphere is the most difficult, then why is it my favorite? I think the sphere is my favorite because it is such a challenge that it makes me feel really accomplished when I get it done. So this is the shadow patterns for a sphere. So the sphere is a round object. It really does have no edges. So you have to create those by using shading. But the only true edge that you want to see is just this one right around it. Again, not with a black line around it because we don't walk around with black lines all over us. The diagram does have black lines just so you can kind of see where those areas are. This area would be your highlight with your top right front, and then it would come down into your light area, your shadow area, your shadow core area, and then reflected light. So there's a difference between your object and your cast shadow that's down here at the bottom. So when you first start off with the sphere, what I do is just kind of wiggle around my pencil like this. And that looks pretty good, kind of spherish. And then when I first start shading it, I'm going to use these contours. See how every curve and line on this is contour. We talked about cross contour and how it goes across. This is when it really comes into play, is using that cross part. So when I first start shading this, I use a gesture type shading, which is kind of messy, but very, very light. And what this does is it creates it so that there is no pattern, that it just kind of will all start blending together the more I scribble around and the more I do this. Now I'm doing this very, very lightly. You don't want to do this dark because of course we don't want to leave any marks on our paper. And then as I keep going, it will start to fade out. I think I've gone about as far as I want to go with my number 2 pencil. So now I'm going to turn my paper around and I'm going to start putting in my shadow core. Now, as you keep working on your sphere, you'll start to find the edge. You want to bring that back so that it becomes a nice circle. And this does take a while. Okay, so if this is my finished drawing, I'd probably still work on this a bunch more. But for right now, I'm going to show you how to add the cast shadow. So the cast shadow is going to come in from this way, and it's going to be an oval that sits underneath. And there you have your sphere. Happy shading.